Good evening, dear friends. It is with great honor that we, on behalf of the Vivekananda Vedanta Society of Chicago, welcome Swami Sahajananda Giri, a spiritual teacher based in Kriya Yoga Gurukulum, the monastery in Joliet, Illinois. Swamiji received his initiation in Kriya Yoga meditation from revered Paramahamsa Hariharanandaji in 2000, and he joined the monastic order in 2010 and took his vows in 2016. Swamiji travels extensively teaching the discipline of Kriya Yoga meditation. He had offered an introductory class here at the Home of Harmony in 2022, and today's talk will build on his previous session. There will be time for question and answer. So now we request Swamiji to kindly begin his presentation.
Let us close our eyes. Let us remember that the principle of existence, God is all pervading, all permeating, as pure consciousness. And absolute completeness. We bow to God as fundamental existence, pure consciousness, and absolute completeness, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. We bow to God as manifested form of, we bow to God as Sri Guru, the manifested form. We bow to God within as inner self. I bow to the lineage of masters in Kriya. I bow to saints and sages, who is nothing but forms of God in different times and place. I bow to Sri Ma and bow to Sri Ramakrishna. I bow to God in all of you. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shyama Charana Madhyamam Asmad Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Iswaraha Gururatma iti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomabhat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om. Good afternoon and welcome. Am I audible well? So today I'll present to you, and my understanding is that I think you would know this, but we are putting it in a structure. If we look at our spiritual life, or absolutely any life, our life, every action of ours, every steps we take is to fulfill some incompleteness in ourselves. Whether it is physical incompleteness, or psychological incompleteness, or intellectual incompleteness, our existence, our life is driven every moment to fulfill some incompleteness we try to fulfill either intentionally or unintentionally. Do you agree? For example, we are sitting here very nicely, everything is going well, and suddenly these fans are switched off and the heat rises. We feel uncomfortable. So because we are feeling uncomfortable, we'll try to find some solutions, whether we'll go out or have a hand fan, something we'll do. Or we are sitting for a while and this fellow starts telling that I need something. We will seek food. We are continuously trying to find completeness within our capacity. This completeness, in a very general term, or fulfillment, whatever we call it, we see that when we try that, we fulfill we complete our emptiness or incompleteness for some period of time, for a little period of time. For example, I am feeling lonely, little bit painful. So what do? I go out, go to a movie, go to a restaurant, or I call some friends, visit a friend, go for a vacation. I find some state of completeness and I come back. This finding temporary completeness, I hope or I think that by continuously trying to find this temporary completeness, I will be okay. But that doesn't happen. I fulfill one incompleteness, something else comes up. Like that, our life is a continuous struggle to find that balance. This balance, in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna mentions a word has been used called sama. Sama in English we can translate as equilibrium, equanimity, balance, stillness, whatever we call it. But you understand the philosophy behind it. Every one of us, humans, animals, plants, everyone is trying to come back to balance. Any kind of imbalance is not acceptable. So we have, as intelligent being, we have found different ways to find balance within. We are hungry, physical imbalance. We take food. The food is not giving me balance because it is not tasty, so I add some spices, some salt. So balance, continuously we are trying to find. Nothing else. Someone is trying to find balance by becoming wealthy. Someone is trying to find balance by having family. Someone is trying to find balance by having good health. Someone is trying to find balance through good emotion. Someone is trying to find balance through intellectual activities, study, writing books, reading. So all these are there. We know this. So we can fundamentally tell ourselves is balance is our goal. Sama, which is called balance or equilibrium or equanimity, is the goal of life. Many times you might have heard great masters say, goal of life is God. Goal of life is God. God is our goal. God is our goal. A person can ask, I actually do not need God. Because suppose I have never heard the word God. Why would I need God? I am hungry, I need food. I am lonely, I need friends. And I am happy. And many in the world today, we have friends, and many in the world, they are okay with it. The beauty is, Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Samatvam yoga uchyate. He said yoga is finding or remaining in equanimity, equilibrium. And then he says, Nirdosam he samang brahma tasmat brahmanite sthitaha. He said, absolute equilibrium is God. So our equilibrium is temporary. We find equilibrium, then it gets destabilized. Our food is tasty. I am eating. Equilibrium is maintained. Then after a while, that food starts giving me pain. Suppose you like sweets, and I brought you, suppose, 10 sweets or rasgullas, some sweet meat, and you take one, very nice, happy. Second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one, it becomes pain. So that which was giving me balance, equilibrium, has started destabilizing me. And we see that it can be experimented by any one of us. That the very thing that we find equilibrium, through which we find equilibrium, becomes a destabilizing force. That means it is not a methodology, or it is not a way, this is not a way to find absolute equilibrium. Absolute equilibrium is defined as God by none other than Sri Krishna himself. Nirdosam hi samang brahma tasmat brahmanite sthitaha. He says, those who are in absolute equilibrium, they are in God, they are God. Those of you, we are at the holy feet and the home of Mother Sharada. Those of you who are familiar with Sri Ramakrishna's life, he was in absolute pain. Throat cancer had come in. It is not going down, not able to eat, not able to drink. Even the food is grinded. That's how Thakur was eating. But he is not praying for his health. He is not praying for recovery. And he was asked. Many people might have asked, but we hear Swami Vivekananda asked. But I have a feeling that many other people might have also asked. Thakur, you say that you see God in form. You also experience God as formless, both. Tumi shaguna, tumi nirguna. Tumi shakara, tumi nirakara. You are formless, you are with form. Because when we say God can be formless only, then we have already created a boundary. We have already defined that God cannot be something. The idea of God always is that it can be anything. I only know this much. So, the question was asked to Sri Ramakrishna. He said, Thakur, you worship God as Divine Mother, as Bhavatarini. You also have realized God as formless. Why don't you seek God's grace, blessings for the throat cancer and get rid of the pain? Because you are anyway in pain. And Thakur refuses. He says, I am not going to ask God this trivial thing. For us, physical existence, physical pain is a very powerful driver. Little bit of pain in our body, it's not we cannot tolerate it. Nirdosam hi samang brahma. God is without any nirdosha. Nirdosh means there is no pain, there is no difficulties, or there is no deformities. Absolute equilibrium. Tasmat brahmanite sthita. Those who are in that absolute equilibrium, they are not worried or they are not impacted by the physical pain, even my mental pain, and so on. We can fairly conclude, looking at our lives, not necessarily reading books and other things, that we are continuously seeking equilibrium. The moment our equilibrium is destabilized, we seek further. The question arises is, how do I progress in the path towards absolute equilibrium? This is the question I will ask. Because secularly, or from a worldly point of view, I have found out ways to find equilibrium. For example, I have bodily pain, I go to a doctor, take medicine, and take care of the body. Like that. Today, I would like to present to you different layers of equilibrium. Those of you who are familiar with Vedanta or yoga, our existence is, we have 5 layers of existence. It is called Pancha Kosha, 5 sets, 5 layers. You can call it 5 walls. The first existence, which all of us are very clear about, is the bodily existence. I have a body, you have a body. Body is visible to us, and bodily incompleteness, bodily inadequacy is very well known to us. For example, hunger is mental or physical. Hunger is always physical. So I am hungry, I will take some food, I will take care of the hunger. I am cold, I will switch on the heat. I am feeling pain here, I will do something. This is physical equilibrium. I do not need to discuss much about it because we know our body should be in some sort of balance. In the path of yoga, the philosophy of yoga, which was, says Patanjali, compiled in the form of Yoga Sutra, this is taken care mostly by what we call as asana. Some postures, good food, disciplined life, little bit of exercise, mostly we can have bodily balance, mostly. There is a limitation to it, but we can work with that much. So physical balance. Then we go to the inner layer. The next layer is called prana, or the energy layer. What we call as vital breath, vital energy, or prana, pranic layer. The prana must be balanced. How do you know the prana is not balanced? Prana is not balanced when digestion goes off. Digestion is not happening. And prana impacts the mind. We'll talk about that afterwards. If prana is imbalanced, constipation will happen. Primarily, there are 5 pranas defined in the body. I'll tell more about it. but pranic layer. Prana must be balanced. The energy or the power that is activating this body must be in balance. So just because I have a good muscle, good six-pack is not enough. We know that. If the bodily functioning part is destabilized, then, so this is pranic balance. Then we go, so we have physical body, then prana, then next comes mana, psychology, mind. These are different terms used. Mind must be in balance. Emotions are hitting into me. I am too sensitive. I get depression, jealousy, fear. All these things are continuously attacking me. Anxiety. All these things are destabilization of mind. And we are aware of it. Mind must be in balance. So how many layers we have discussed? 3 layers. Balance of the physical body, balance of the vital breath or prana, vital energy, balance of the mind. You see, it's systematic. We are going from gross to the subtle. Then comes intellectual balance. We must have balance of intellect. If mind is indecisive, I am not able to think clearly, I am not able to conclude, I am not able to act with proper understanding, my ability to analyze is low, this is the sign of intellectual imbalance, in a very general terms. Intellectual balance, if it is not built, then there would be issues we are aware of. So we must build some intellectual balance. Physical balance, energy balance or vital energy balance, pranic balance, psychological balance, mental balance, intellectual balance. These 4 is very visible to us and we can relate to it. Then I must work to do something, what we call is spiritual balance. Spiritual balance is to find out truth about myself, the nature of me, the reason of my existence, or the source of my existence, whatever you call it. Who am I? Spiritual. We need to find about myself. All these, if it is not aligned properly, then our life is not in balance. So we cannot leave one and we say that I don't care about it and I will only balance this, then there would be trouble. One person, suppose, he said, I will make sure that I will take care of my mind only. And I don't care about my body, I don't care about understanding myself. Then today or tomorrow, the imbalance is going to hit. So the spiritual masters say that through systematic spiritual practice, you must bring fundamental, systematically fundamental balance to these 5 layers: physical, pranic, mind, intellect, and eventually realization or understanding of the self. Is it clear? How to do it? First thing is that this has to be done. No one can avoid this. We can pretend. Many people say, well, you know what, I will just think about who am I, and eventually I will get realization. Doesn't work. Would not work. One teacher said, he said there was a young man who goes to his teacher. He said that, I don't have much time. why don't you tell me the essence of spiritual life? The teacher said, my son, that's not how it works. I mean, I just can't tell you the essence of spiritual life and be okay with it. He said, sir, please have mercy on me. I don't have much time. He said, okay, the essence of spiritual life is, I am God. He said, that's it? He said, yeah, 3 sentences. I am God in Sanskrit is called Aham Brahma Asmi. मैं ब्रह्म हूँ, मैं भगवान, that means I am all pervading. That means my existence and God's existence is one. So the student went. So the whole night he's telling, I am Brahmasmi, I am Brahmasmi, I am Brahmasmi. First thing is, he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know what Brahma is. I don't know who I am. I don't know what God is. How it is possible that I will equalize these 2 factors? So he comes up in the morning. He said, sir, nothing is working. He said, what happened? He said, sir, the whole night I chanted, I am God, I am God, I am God. He said, what did you find out? He said, sir, I found out that I am a fool. That's what it is. I met a family. The husband is a cardiologist. Wife is a neurosurgeon, something like that. I don't know much about both of the profession, and they were in a dining table. We were discussing. The wife is telling husband, your job is the simplest. Apparently, I heard that the cardiologists have only 4 medicines, according to her. So if it is not true, it is, I don't know. She said, apparently cardiologists have only 4 medicines in front of them. So they look at your condition and will give you one of them. This much. It's a boring job, apparently. He said, my job is exciting. I have to study neurons, this, that. So the husband was agreeing to it. So I thought, I said, I can be cardiologist too. Because I can just go learn about 4 medicines. That is not how life works. Systematically, these layers must be prepared. Physical layer must be prepared. Pranic layer must be prepared. Psychological layer must be prepared. Intellectual layer must be prepared. Then realization of self will come. That is why in ancient tradition, in the Guru Parampara or the lineage, you go to the Guru is not going to start teaching you right away. The Guru is going to put you for work, collect woods, or take care of the cows, or do some farming, like that. Through that, physical being is being prepared, physical well-being is being prepared, and then the Guru would give you another practice, chanting, some breath works. We'll do a little practice also. For the pranic balance to be created, then the Guru provides some pujas, some worships, taking care of tying the flowers, making flower garlands, preparing food for master or deities, psychological balance. Then the Guru gives little bit of study, little bit. This much. And the preparation starts. Modern times, first 1, 2, 3, we immediately want to jump to Upanishads, Yoga Sutra, that's what we are going to study. And then we realize that the whole life I have studied Yoga Sutra or Upanishads. Somebody said, Baba, I studied Upanishads. Nothing different is written in, like if you read one Upanishad, go to another, same thing. So I go to these talks of monks, they don't talk anything different. Our Gurudev, my teacher, Paramahansa Hariharananji, somebody said to him, he said, Baba, you are saying the same thing. Wherever I go, Gurudev said, actually I have nothing else to say. Only if you practice the first thing, you don't have to come to me for the second time. Systematic building of balance of each layer must happen. I will tell you, I will go one by one and I will give you some techniques that you can practice. The first one is physical layer balance. You do exercise, very nice. Disciplined life, of course. We teach in the yogic tradition, we teach some spinal technique, spinal movement technique. Spine, as you all know, is one of the core aspects of the body. All the nerve channels are in the spine itself. So, in the yogic tradition, along with stretching and all kinds of things, we teach some exercise, some practice of spine. And that is a very, very powerful technique to take us to the next layer, the pranic layer. The pranic layer, the beauty is this. The prana, the energy, is at the junction. You know, you have two bread pieces, and you have sandwiched. Two bread pieces have no value. They are tasteless. So we put inside some cream, some what we call, what is that? Peanut butter. It makes it tasty. Two bread pieces, which were tasteless, suddenly with some peanut butter becomes tasty. Similarly, this is the physical body, this is the mind. They are combined together with the peanut butter of life energy or prana. If prana is balanced, and we'll go over it a little bit more with respect to practice. If prana is balanced, it balances the body in one side, it starts balancing the mind. And when mind is balanced, it starts building up intellect. When intellect is balanced or purified, self-knowledge starts shining. Understanding comes. This is the sequence. You might have heard the word pranayama. What does it mean? What does pranayama mean? Pranayama means pranasya ayama iti pranayama. Means, ayama means two meanings. One is vistararthe, that means expansiveness. When the prana expands, pranayama happens. Pranayama doesn't mean that's just taking, it's not like that. Life force must expand. And I will tell you, how do you know life force is expanding? Life force is expanding when for no reason your love is expanding. Your affection is expanding. Your charitable nature is expanding. Your genuineness, truth, or love for truth is expanding. There is a song in Bengali, it is said, Sawai ke na basle bhalo moner kalo ghuchbe na re. He said, if you think that your mind is pure or impure, you want to test it, just ask yourself, how much do you love everybody? Pranasya vistara means if life force expands, my love for others expands. Naturally. I don't have to force myself. I must love. No, it automatically. This is one meaning. Second meaning of pranayama is that to bring prana to a state of stillness, calmness. So, if I take care of the middle layer, the prana, then I have some certain level of balance in the physical body. I start balancing the mind. My intellect becomes more and more purified. And then when the intellect gets purified, it is called Shuddha Buddhi, purified intellect. When intellect is purified, understanding of self, what we call as Atman, Atman reflects, or my knowledge of me starts increasing. That means I understand myself more. This is the formula of meditation. Unless prana is purified, unless mind is stabilized, hundreds of years of study of scriptures is not going to help. I will tell you a story and then I will teach you a little meditation technique. There is an Upanishad called Prashna Upanishad. How many of you heard Prashna Upanishad? In the Prashna Upanishad, some great rishis, they are great sages themselves. They go to another great sage. He said, after the greetings, they said, why have you come here? They said, we have come here to know what Brahman is, what God is. Now modern times, for example, you go to a monk, like monks like us. One of my brother monks said, he said, you give two things to a monk, some food and a mic to speak. The monk is happy. This is the modern monks. The rishi, the great rishi, looked at them and said, my dears, I would like you to stay with me for 1 year. And how you are going to stay? Stay as brahmachari. Brahmachari means students. Students means that generally the traditional practices, the student cannot have a demand. You can't go to the Guru and say that today I need this vegetable. I will eat this time. I need snacks. I need tea. I need biscuits. All these things. The student is there to offer. You will, at that time, you will collect wood. You will take care of the cows. You milk the cows. You make cow dung cakes. You take care of the cleaning. They bring water. All these things. These are great rishis, those who went for questioning. And the rishi who is supposed to answer them question, he is telling them that I am not going to teach you anything. You first stay with me for 1 year as my student and no commitment. And then he says something very interesting. After 1 year, if only I know about God, I speak to you. If only. That means no guarantee. I may say that I don't know about God. After 1 year, would you go to a professor like that? You go to a professor, the professor says, yeah, work in my lab for 1 year without pay or maybe basic things. And after 1 year, if I know about your subject, I'll talk to you. You'll say, thank you very much. But this rishi stayed. Because the 1 year is not going to go in vain. This 1 year, my physical discipline will start, my physical balancing will start, my pranic balance will happen, my psychological balance will happen, my intellectual balance is going to happen. When I am intellectually prepared, there is no way the Guru can stop teaching me. The Guru will spontaneously teach me when the disciple is prepared. We see that in great masters. I mean, we are in the house of Sri Ma when Swami Vivekananda came, and many other great masters, the pictures are here. As soon as they came, Thakur started teaching them right away. He called it as adhara. He said that these are pure substratum. They can hold knowledge. And us, our mind is not pure. We are studying Upanishads. After 2 lines, we are thinking whether to eat cooked food or ordered food. That's what our mind is. So we must create adhara. Starting from the body, then prana, then mind, then intelligence. I come from the tradition of Kriya Yoga. I personally have studied Vedanta a little bit. Yoga, our masters say, if you study Vedanta, especially there is a book called Tattvabodha. Tattvabodha is written by whom? If you have studied Tattvabodha, who has written it? Tattvabodha is written by Adi Shankara. He says, the first one is, you have to be an adhikari. Adhikari means you first prepare yourself to be eligible. You have to give some entrance exam. You can't go to a professor that, sir, I want to be a PhD student. No. How do you become an adhikari? He said, adhikari, eligible or prepared student by practicing sadhana chatushtayam, fourfold practices. You have to practice some discrimination, viveka. You have to practice detachment, vairagya. Then he said you have to practice 6 things: shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, samadhana, shraddha. 6 treasures you have to inculcate. You have to inbuilt. At the same time, you must have a desire to get freedom. Freedom here does not mean that everything should get rid of me. Freedom means absolute balance. Freedom means balance. Freedom does not mean that I get away from anything. Freedom means balance. Freedom means equanimity. Freedom means equilibrium. Freedom does not mean living home, doing this. No. Unless this is cultivated, the Guru is not going to teach us anything. So our Gurus say that yoga is the preparation. Unless preparation happens, yoga is generally works on the mind, which is in the sadhana chatushtayam, the 6 treasures and viveka vairagya. Through systematic practice of yoga, the knowledge of Vedanta starts rising. Vedasya anta iti Vedanta. Vedanta means when the knowledge has culminated. So I will teach you some techniques you can practice at home. Very simple technique. 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, 10 to 15 minutes in the afternoon or evening. It can be practiced more than that also. These techniques has 3 things. First, I will teach the one technique for the physical part, especially the spine. Then I will teach you a technique on the breath. Why breath? The vital energy within us can be regulated by breath alone. It can be regulated by bodily movement. It can also be regulated by the mind. Please remember again, sandwich, it is inside. So just by moving the body in certain ways, the life energy can change. Just by moving the mind in certain ways, the life energy can change. But to change the core of this, the middle of the sandwich, the prana, breath is a very effective method. So I'll teach you a breathing technique. Then I'll show you a concentration technique for the mind. So body, life energy, and mind. Can you hear me? So the technique, just watch me. This is the spinal technique. I am sitting at home. You can sit just like this. Or if you are sitting on the chair, you can keep your legs little apart. But first watch me, and then I will guide. So I will bend, keeping the hips on the ground. My hips are on the ground, the tip of my spine is still touching the ground. I bend as much as you can. I bend, keeping my hands on the knees. Through this technique, my whole spine is bent like a bow. This is called bow technique. B-O-W. Bow, you know, bow. So this. From here, I slowly roll my head and bring the right ear to the right knee, then to the middle, then to left. So left ear towards the left knee, then to the middle, then straight. If you are sitting on the, as all of you are sitting on the chair, you can rotate head to the right knee, left knee. This stretches the spine. This stretch and twist the spine. Powerful technique. If you practice this 3-4 times, the pranic changes will start happening. This is technique 1. We will practice a slow, long, deep inhalation like this. Watch me. I am going to first inhale and then exhale. Could you hear? Like this. Slow, long, deep breath. Now, when you are breathing, mentally chant Om. So when you are breathing in, Om, mentally, psychologically, Om. Now the mind is connected to the prana. This much. Can we practice? And then we'll spend some time if you have anything to add to the discussion. Let us close our eyes. Keep the legs apart. Sit straight. Let us pray to the presence of Mother, presence of Sri Ramakrishna, presence of Gurus, to bless us for the practice. Let us take some slow, long, deep inhalation few times. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Hold the breath. Now bend forward as much as you can. After bending completely, exhale. Normal breath. Feel the breath. Now, move towards the right knee. Bring the right ear towards the right knee so that the left ear will face up. Come to the middle. Slowly go towards the left. Left ear touching the or towards the left knee. Right ear faces up. Come to the middle. Inhale. Hold. Slowly sitting up. Exhale. Feel the breath. Again inhale, hold and bend, exhale, normal breath, turning to right, bringing the right ear towards the right knee. Left ear faces up. To the middle. To left, left ear towards the left knee, right ear faces up. To the middle. Inhale. Hold the breath, slowly sitting up. Exhale. Normal breath. Feel the movement of the breath. Again inhale, hold and bend. Exhale. To right. To the middle. To left. To the middle. Inhale. Hold the breath, slowly sitting up. Exhale. Now, we'll practice slow, long, deep inhalation with mentally chanting Om. We'll practice 12 inhalation, 12 exhalation. Inhale Om. Exhale Om. Inhale Om. Exhale Om. Inhale Om. Exhale. Inhale Om. Exhale Om. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale Om. Inhale Om. Exhale Om. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale Om. Exhale Om. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale Om. Exhale Om. Inhale. normal breath. Be an observer of the breath. No thinking, no intentional thinking, no imagination, hallucination, only perception. Whatever perception you get, be there and watch. I am remaining in the self, in remaining in myself. Swa Swarupe Avasthanam. May the blessings of God, the Gurus of Kriya Yoga, saints and sages of all times and all places, blessings of Sri Sri Ma, Sri Sri Thakur, be upon us all, guiding us in the path of self-realization. May there be pure devotion, deep desire to know the truth. May we all have goodwill, auspicious thoughts for everyone, and may there be no inauspicious thoughts, negativity come out of our mind. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamasho Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamrutam Gamaya Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. You can slowly open your eyes and be grateful, thankful for all the opportunities we have. Om Tat Sat Om. Thank you all.
Any questions you may ask?
Namaskaram. I was wondering where the imbalance comes from. Are we born with the imbalance? Is it because of the way we live our lives, the way we've structured our society, that we have imbalance Where's the source of it?
For some reason, I am not able to hear the whole thing. Not that you are speaking well, but somehow
Yeah, if you turn off your mic, I think there's a...
uh
Oh, echo.
Turn off your mic for the second. Yeah, now you...
Is this better? Okay. My question was, where does the imbalance come from? Are we born with the imbalance? Is it because the way our society is today that we have the imbalance, so we have to strive for balance? More about the source of the imbalance.
source of imbalance from a spiritual standpoint comes from the misunderstanding of my own self. That is the source of imbalance. But that would be like a high, tall order things to achieve right now. So if, for example, suppose you are struggling with anxiety and you come to somebody, he said that, know yourself, your anxiety will go away. I mean, yes, it's true, but I need something right now. So from a spiritual angle, ignorance or avidya, what we call as, that which means is that I am not fully aware of my own existence, is the source of imbalance. Practically, the source of imbalance is an undisciplined life. Practically. A disciplined life takes away several problems of imbalance. A disciplined life, and to be truthful, every one of us have indiscipline built into us because of habit, as you said, society, because of what we live, social pressure, family pressure, pressure from the colleagues. For example, I'll tell you. I give this example because I can correlate with it. I was born in a village. I mean, the village, you can imagine a village where we didn't have electricity till I was 15. Now, everything was going well. We had in the village we had everything is fine. For hundreds of years, fine. Then came electricity. When electricity came, by that time I had left village and went to college. Because in India, we go to college from 11th grade, junior college. So electricity came. Then suddenly, everybody is in need of a fan. Now your home has a fan. My home doesn't. Now I am in pain. Previously I didn't have, you didn't have. We were fine. This is the imbalance. This imbalance came from where? Yes, ignorance is there and everything. But previously you were ignorant, I was ignorant. You had no fan, I had no fan. And we were fine, we were in balance probably. Now you are ignorant, I am also ignorant of our own self. But you have a fan, ceiling fan, and I don't. So now I am feeling more heat. So I am complaining, it's too much heat, I need a fan. And you can take this example and expand it to anything. So yes, ignorance is the source of imbalance because balance is God only, absolute balance. But in a practical way, life without discipline is the source of imbalance. My thinking, but we can explore also more. In the yoga, he says, to bring your mind to balance, there are few things you cannot avoid. You avoid, there will be consequences. First one is, you cannot hurt others knowingly. Physical hurting, mental hurting also. Giving a look, whatever we do for hurting others, giving what we call cold shoulder, all these things we do. It's not going to bring joy to us. It's not going to bring balance to us. That is first. Second one is be truthful. You lie, I lie, there would be consequences on the mind, like that. You take somebody else's things that doesn't belong to you, there would be consequences on the mind. So these are different disciplines the yoga provides very clearly that please be aware of it. This, if you violate this, universally balance is not going to come. So you can meditate hundreds of years, but if you still lie in your life, balance is not going to come. So there is a saying by Sri Ramakrishna, I remembered. He said it in Bengali, Satyate thak, Ishwar labh have. He said, remain in truth, God relation will happen.
No other questions? Yeah.
Namaskar. So the breathing technique you were walking us through, do you breathe through your nose or mouth, or is there a combination?
Thank you very much for asking that. I should have corrected you at the beginning. It is nose breathing only, not mouth breathing.
And is there a name for this, the set of movements and patterns we walk through, the Kriya? Is there a name? Yeah.
This is part of the Kriya Yoga that I come from, the tradition we come from. It is a technique-based meditation. That means the Gurus have taught us some techniques. I just showed you something very simple. And there are very intricate techniques. Simple, but it works at the level of prana. So the techniques that I taught you is from Kriya Yoga techniques, Kriya Yoga meditation techniques. Prana in the body, in general, is called prana, life energy. Some may say that, you see, many of you might have heard a general saying is that life left the body. The body is lifeless. So there is actually life and there is actually body. There are two things according to our masters. This also can be experienced a little bit in life also. This prana, or what we call as life, activates in this body in 5 different ways, 5 functions. Prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana. These are 5 names. Same energy. For example, electricity is same, but there is lights coming out from one, from cold coming out from another, heat coming out of another. So same energy activating different aspect of function. So similarly in the body. So we have to practice some techniques that actually balances all 5. For example, to give you just an example, if udana vayu, if udana prana is destabilized, the person will not have inspiration. The person will get into depression. You can't inspire that person. Generally what we do, if a person is not inspired, we say, oh, go and take a walk, this, that. Up to a certain extent, udana vayu may get activated. But it's not going to stay long. So that is why most of the time it doesn't work. So there are techniques which activates udana vayu itself. If the person practices the technique for a week or 10 days, you will see that the person would start shedding away depression. So udana vayu. Another vayu is called apana. If apana vayu is imbalanced, all your lower body movements would have difficulties. Constipation will happen. If samana vayu is in destabilization, digestion will have problem. So these are the signs. Make sense?
I mean, actually, this, talking about prana, a lot of doctors say that if you do physical exercises, just like, no, if you do physical exercises, like walking or aerobic exercises, running, or stretch exercises, they say many of these problems will reduce. I mean, we don't have to, we don't have to do,
If you do any kind of physical movement, will have an impact on the prana. Please remember, again come back that. It is touching prana, right?
Yeah.
It's a sandwich. So any kind of, it is actually very simple. How body, prana and mind is connected, I will give an example to you. Some of you might have experienced. You are lying down in the bed. Sleep is not coming. What happens? When sleep is not coming and you are lying down, what happens? Lot of thoughts start coming. After a while, naturally, we change our bodily positions. Right. Naturally. So what happens? Because of the bodily change, prana gets little bit changed. And mind gets changed. This is a natural order, there is nothing. So by regularly walking and all this, definitely there would be, as I mentioned earlier, there would be a pranic change. There are techniques to go and deep work in the prana itself. So for example, there is a technique in the yoga called Mahamudra. You can read about Mahamudra in a book called Hatha Yoga Pradipika. You can go and read like little detail what Mahamudra does. The regular practice of Mahamudra is a technique. Take 3 to 4 minutes to practice one cycle. Somebody can practice more. Regular practice of Mahamudra will create imbalance of Udana Vayu like anything. It takes away even traumas out. I'm not saying this because I read about it also. Part of it is my experience also. So there are techniques. Physically, if you do something, there will be pranic impact. But there are techniques on the prana also. There are techniques on the mind also. There are techniques for the intellect also, direct techniques.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Swamiji. Conclude. This was a very helpful presentation, and thank you for leading us on behalf of Swami Sahajananda Giri and Vedanta Society and all of you. A token of our respects and gratitude to you. Hope you come again and continue this teaching.